Well, today is another day for a podcast, so that's what I'm doing. And today we're talking about all the stuff that's going on with the police violence and things are still escalating in that area. The people going out using weapons against people. But the shots are getting out and people seem like they, for the most part, want to get the shots and get all that over with and start to get back to trying to better all the things that were normal, change those things into something better this year. I want to thank God and praise Him for just waking me up and starting me on my way this morning, and for the blessings that I know He has in store for us all. So I want to just kind of start this out today talking about some of the younger people, and I'm just praying that our future generations won't be stifled by these pandemics that we're having, by these racial outbursts, by these threats of civil war. People are still out there and trying to attack the Capitol. And as you can see, this is not just limited to any certain people or person. But we need to join together and get that rainbow coalition going where everybody is a part of it. All those Republicans that are in there and they're just doing whatever they want to do, they're about to get out of office, and we'll have some room for some Republicans to get in there that want to make some good changes. Hopefully, by the grace of God, the shots will be more acceptable to the young and some of the old that are not getting the shots and talking about not getting it. I had my second one. I feel great. Thank God for that. Nothing's happened where I feel any different. Appetite is still good. So I thank God for not being in a frame of mind to not wanting to take something that I might most definitely need. Flu shot, I don't most definitely need that because I felt like I had enough of those that I didn't have to take it all the time, so I don't take it. And I haven't taken it for quite a while. But this shot that came up with this virus that was out, I felt like I needed to protect myself a little better. And by the grace of God, so far, so good. And now they're talking about those variants that are out in Michigan, and you know, it's a whole lot of us out there in Michigan. People don't want to migrate. They don't want to move away from what they know. But sometimes it might be safer to just move a minute. These people are changing the voting in these red states. We ought to just let them all be red. Don't live in those states. I know that's kind of funky because I live in a red state. I'm here in Iowa, and it's definitely a red state. So this just might be time to, within the next 4 or 5 years, might be a good time to start planning that, you know, if I needed to and get my family away from trouble, I would be able to by the grace of God. And if I would have it my way, all my family would be in the same place. Yep. I have all my eggs right there with me, somewhere around me, closer to us. So I'm just thanking God and praising Him for open eyes, open ears, awareness, his love, and his protection. So, I still wanted to talk about a few other things. Don't want to give away all my little things that I say I'm going to have, coming up pretty soon. I'm working on some stuff that'll really be nice by the grace of God, where I'll be able to have a different room where I'm working from, and I'm working on that now. I really thank the Lord and praise Him for just everybody that's out there praying, everybody that's listening, everybody that's paying attention. And I'm trusting Him that progress for people of color will begin to expand exponentially. I mean, we just getting ready to begin to open up all types of businesses, small businesses. And the opportunity for people of color is very good. I talked a little bit about that DBE situation that they got going on. And for the most part, that hasn't helped me at all. And I'm about to change that also. So, I would like for everybody to pray my strength in the Lord, that I would continue to be as much of a blessing to any and everybody that I can. And I'm looking for the same thing from quite a few other people. I just wanted to talk again about the Black Wall Street that's coming up, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving it. I'm hearing some Marvin Gaye music now in my head, and that's some of what I'll be putting out before we go into the podcast. I'll play a little music, and then I'll reminisce on how that music has lived, was alive way ahead of his time. And that's what the devil does when we have people who are way ahead of their time. They figure out some kind of way to dispose of them. And Marvin, as you know, was shot by his dad. So that was really tragic to me, because I don't know how that could happen. I really don't. I don't. And sometimes I guess parents think they're being disrespected, and maybe they are, but they still don't have a right to do that one. That I brought you into this world and I'll take you out scenario is not the one for Richard, because I ain't taking you out unless it's to dinner. You're my son or my daughter. I really don't care what you say. I'm not going to take you out unless it's to dinner. I might knock you out. I might do that one. So, I'm hoping that people will continue to join me on the Facebook page in the morning, doing a little bike ride. I got a few more weeks to go. Matter of fact, this month is just getting started. I got a couple of more weeks to go. And everything is looking well, and God is blessing. I wanted to say something, too, about a few things that's just so crazy. People think that when they get on these things and they make their little videos on WhatsApp or, you don't know who's looking at all that stuff. It brings about a lot of problems. And I'm not sure why those apps are even out there. And it's really a problem, because a lot of young people are on there, and it's just not something I want to be involved in. But in subscribing and following other people, when they begin to talk about those apps, that's when I began to block them off the top. And I just want some people to know that that app should be taken off the air. They talk about stuff that should be taken off Facebook and Instagram and all that. That stuff should need to be not even allowed to be put out. And I'm talking about it because relatives, some think that's the way to go, and I'm just trying to step in to say that it's not. And it's amazing to me how that people my age, when we started out in church, all of our children were there with us. And this is everywhere. Some stay and some leave. And it's hard for me today to see that it's a lot of my grandkids, my great-grandkids, they barely want to hear anything about God. And if they do, they call on him like I do when I'm in trouble. And I think it's a time for a new awakening for the young to realize God is, and he still got us, whether y'all think he do or not. Whether you guys think he's a he or a she, or why would anybody even come up with something like that. And, it's just a lot of young people that ain't into that. And it's my calling to try and let them know that, yeah, he's alive and well. And if you want to call him a she, it's okay, because we believe in that too, that it should be okay for people to change the way they feel from the way they look. They should change something on the outside to fit something that's on the inside. And if that's all right with God, then that's all right with me. Because I'm on his side, and everybody else can go jump in the river. Especially if they not on his side. Because if they not on his side, they not on my side. But I think that America is really, just sticking the neck out a lot on a lot of areas that's contrary to God. Now, we're talking about equality, and now everybody wants the laws to be changed so that they can fit into some type of equality or equal standing. And we're trying to do that in the sight of man, for man, to be accepted by man, when we should be thinking whether or not if we're being accepted by God, or are we accepting him in whatever we do. And you can't be judgmental about people because they change when the time comes. And we, as their brothers and sisters, shouldn't judge them because they want to change something that's on the inside to fit something that's on the outside, or to make what's on the inside appeal to people because of the way they look on the outside. And we have to stop looking at people as if they're different because they're different. We got to stop looking at them like that and start looking at them and counting them as people. And if we can do that, then we can accept almost anything, because in the end, God is going to be the one to have the last say as to what anybody did, whether it was right or whether it was wrong, or whether it was contrary to his word, or whether it was going along according to his word. For us, it's not to judge. For us, it's not to hold anything against anybody else, regardless of what it is. That's judgment. And then with that judgment, we separate ourselves from people, and then that's when we begin to execute what we might feel is justice by not dealing with them anymore. It's actually judgment. So it's good to call on God when you're in trouble, but it's better to call on him regardless to what you're in, trouble or otherwise, okay? Call on him all the time. Don't wait for him. Don't wait for a calamity to come down on you and then you call him, because the lines might be busy, because there are people that's calling every day. Well, I want to thank God again and praise him for this YouTube video and this podcast. And by the grace of God, it's going to be put out there so we can communicate. Because I think communication is going to be what saves people of color from being subjected to all this violence that's going on in America today. Peace out. Twice.